Would I lie to you? She's a sporting great. It's Gabby Logan. He's David's mate. It's Robert Webb. And their team captain, Lee Mack. And facing them tonight, he's the joker in the pack. It's Rob Brydon. He's a Channel 4 hack. It's Krishnan Murthy. And their team captain, David Mitchell. But first, please try to convey a convincing impression of complete spontaneity in appreciation of your host, Angus Deaton.
Good evening and welcome to Would I Lie to You? A question to which the answer is, of course I would. This is the BBC. If you look up the definition of lie online, it says it's a type of deception in the form of an untruthful statement, which is pretty rich coming from Wikipedia. And estimates say that everyone lies on average twice a day, so I guess there must be a fair few people out there who aren't lying at all for Gordon Brown to be able to fit in all of his. Which brings us not a moment too soon to round one, the domestically titled Home Truths, in which our panellists take it in turns to read out a statement from a card in front of them. That card may contain a familiar truth or a scurrilous lie that we've made up on their behalf, and they're now reading for the first time, in which case they have about 2 nanoseconds to come up with a convincing story, so no pressure. Commiserations then to Gabby, who is first up.
Thank you, Angus. I have stolen sweets from Madonna's dressing room.
Right. Well, I think the key is the context there. Why were you in the Madonna complex, moving from room to room in search of sugar?
It was actually her dressing room at a concert venue.
Could you be specific, or were you taken there blindfolded?
It was at a venue in London where she was performing.
Could you be even more specific than the city?
The Brixton Academy.
Right. Why were you around the backstage? Did you have it was the Brixton Academy?
Accidentally, I found myself in the VIP party that was apparently right next to Madonna's dressing room. So I was walking out and looked in and saw this dressing room and just wandered in because I was intrigued.
What were the sweets?
The sweets were, you know those long red licoricey things with sugar that are quite sour, actually, when they get back of your mouth.
I find this very hard to believe that the door wasn't manned by...
I'm disappointed that you don't find it hard to believe that I would steal.
No, I accept that straight away.
I can't imagine... I mean, even if she asked for sweets, I don't think she'd ask for that sort of red licoricey string.
David, your verdict. You're the team captain. You have to come to a decision here.
I think we're moving towards lie, aren't we?
Yeah.
Lie.
Yeah.
Okay, you're saying it's filthy lie.
Liar.
Gabby, truth or lie?
It is indeed the truth.
It is true, Gabby did steal sweets from Madonna's dressing room. Seems only fair. Madonna helped herself to a child from Malawi. Rob, your home truth, if you would.
Right. I once simultaneously worked as both the DJ and the newsreader on local radio, using a different accent for each job.
I really hope this is true.
What were the 2 accents?
When I was a DJ, I was younger, so I had kind of a higher voice, and I used to kind of talk a little bit like that and say, thanks very much. The newsreader, I would talk a bit more like that.
So that's not the accent, that's just the tone.
That's the tone, yeah.
Well, if you'd let me finish. I had a slightly Welsh tone to the newsreader, because I am Welsh, and I would sort of give it more of a sort of Anthony Hopkins, sort of, in other news coming in at the moment, there's been a horrific pile-up on the M4 motorway, ambulances are on their way there right now. I would just do it more slowly, give it a slight more Welsh lilt.
Did you ever have any banter between yourselves?
No, I never did, no.
What was the station again?
BBC Radio Wales.
Was this a time of great cutbacks at BBC Radio Wales? Why couldn't they
It's always a time
afford...
of great cutbacks at Radio Wales.
They couldn't afford a newsreader. Are they very expensive, Krishnan? Newsreaders? I mean...
I love the idea of Krishnan doing that on television as well, just getting a wig on and running over to the weather.
The first time it happened was sort of accident. It was when the newsreader didn't come in. It was a very early show. It was at 6:30 in the morning to 7:30. And the newsreader, one time when there was snow, didn't come. And they said, will you read the news? And I did it for a laugh. Did it in a different voice after the jingle, which is not what they were saying. And then just kind of stuck with it.
Did you read the sport?
No, there was a sports guy called David Cartwright.
Interesting they didn't give him the news job.
We've already established, Gabby, that you are little better than a thief. So for you to sit there taking the moral high ground when I stepped in to save a colleague who got stuck and couldn't make it in, frankly, is a bit rich. And I expect more support from a team captain than I'm getting at the moment. I'm getting nothing from this fellow who's sitting here reading my thoughts going, I wonder what he's thinking right now. I can't imagine. Where are you, big fella? As frankly, David, now would be a good time to join in.
I know it's harder and harder to get impressions on the television, but this isn't the place. I'm totally behind you. I would just like to publicly say how plausible I think everything that you've said is. It's exactly what I'd have done in your position. you know.
So, Lee, you're going to have to come to a decision of some sort.
I thought that was an assured performance, and I wish it were true, but I don't think it's true because that would be silly.
Yeah. What do you think, Gabby?
I think it's a lie.
Robert, you
think it's a lie.
OK, we think that's a lie.
They're saying a lie.
They are saying it's a lie, so
fact,
the truth, please.
It's a lie.
It is a lie, well done. Well deduced. It is a lie. Rob did not simultaneously work as the DJ and the newsreader on local radio. To be a local radio DJ, you have to have enthusiasm, poise, and the belief in your heart of hearts that Slough actually matters. Next up, it's Robert's turn to astonish us.
My nickname at school was Mr. Custard.
David, your initial response.
Why were you called Mr. Custard?
Can I just check? You two didn't go to school together, did you?
No, it's not quite that
Carry on.
sick. But it was happened because of this. Because I was very sick once on some custard because I was at school
On some custard.
on some custard.
Right.
Well, the custard made me sick, but there was some custard left, so I suppose yes, David, I was sick on some custard.
He was sick custard on custard.
Yes, exactly. Custard
He
mixed-
sees custard, he sicks custard on it. That
Yeah.
was the thing.
That was the
Mr.
system.
Custard.
That was
He'll
the system.
custardise
It was
any
custard.
custard. How old were you?
I was 9-ish.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long did it stick?
How long did it stick?
Yes, the nickname.
It was relatively
Every
easy.
person in this room thought you meant the custard. Everybody.
For a couple of years, and then I changed school, luckily. So, and then I cleverly didn't tell the new people.
I sort of feel that people say children can be very cruel, and actually, wouldn't they focus more on the whole pukey, vomity element rather than the call you Mr. Sick or Mr. Puke? Mr.
But if he was
think
as
so?
charming at school as he is now, then I think they would focus on the custard. That's why I'm now coming around to believing his story.
I'm both moved and delighted.
I'm kind of with you on that it's not quite cruel enough as a nickname.
So therefore, you're thinking...
Therefore, I'm thinking lie.
I would go with that.
I'll go with the consensus and say lie.
OK, team captain is saying it's a lie, so Robert, time to confess.
It's a lie.
It is a lie, well done. And so we descend lead balloon-like into round two, the Ring of Truth, where I read out some extraordinary celebrity facts, and the panellists' mission, should they choose to accept it, is to establish the truth or otherwise of that fact. Lee's team have these words of wisdom to enjoy.
Some games magnificent, some other not so good, and omelets, eggs.
You haven't got Nick at the moment.
No eggs, no omelets, and depends of the quality of the eggs. In the supermarket you have eggs class 1, class 2, class 3, and some are more expensive than others, and some give you better omelets. So when the class 1 eggs, are in Waitrose and you cannot go there, you have a problem.
I like it that he's launched fearlessly into this extended egg metaphor in a second language, and he's a football manager, not the most chatty, eloquent guys usually most of the time. And he's kind of doing it, and then towards the end he starts to slightly smile, and it's like, sometimes I even amaze myself. This is great. And then you get the sound of those slightly arse-licky sports journalists starting to chuckling along, going, "Oh, Jose's off on one again. Oh, I love it when he goes off on one. Oh, he's brilliant. What a character. What a boring twat."
OK, here is the related fact then. Jose Mourinho is about to release his own range of air fresheners. The tagline for the advert is that Jose's filling your home with a sweet smell of success. And the fragrances include something called Scent Off and the special one.
Sent off. They've obviously put a lot of effort into the pun there.
Yes.
And the second one, they've just said special one. The third one's probably stinks like a Norwegian forest. Let's go for a pint.
Beckham has his own fragrance, and Sven had his own pasta
That's
sauce.
body
and,
fragrance, isn't it, Beckham?
Alex Ferguson drinks toilet duck. Possible. Anything's possible in this game.
So, Lee, any idea?
Oh, you're the football expert on this particular panel, so what do you think? What do you think, Gabby?
Yeah, I don't think it's true.
I just think it's too random. I mean, air fresheners. No.
Okay, I'm
They're saying it's not true, and it is, in fact, a lie. Right, well done. Yes, Jose Mourinho is not about to release his own range of air freshener. He was thinking about it, but Roman Abramovich had just bought the world's supply of air. Jose introduced a club dietitian and nutritionist at Chelsea, although Ashley Cole still likes to get stuck into a half-time orange, or Cheryl Tweedy as she's known. And now for David's team, with a question about this somewhat surprising agony aunt, with the emphasis very much on agony.
you've got no ambition and you don't want to do anything, you might as well just go and lay in a ditch.
You're expecting to go from where you are now, which is on the sofa, you're halfway up the ladder.
No, I don't.
And you can't, you've got to begin on the first rung.
But I'd rather be on the first rung of a ladder that I want to climb than halfway up a ladder I don't.
Okay, which is this ladder you want to climb?
I don't know.
Tie me up in knots now. I really ain't got a Scooby-Doo what you're talking about now. I'll start one ladder or the bottom of the ladder. Yeah, what do you want to do? I don't know.
Bottom of a ladder that I
So what ladder do you want to be on? Have you done what ladder you want to be on?
Exactly.
Until you've tried different ladders, how do you know what ladder you want to
You're
be
talking about
on?
a window cleaner.
The slight flaw in that programme is the message that if you work really hard, you can end up like an insane woman with lopsided tits and a crash helmet hairdo. Here is your related fact. Anne Widdecombe relaxes by listening to an LP of lion and tiger noises from the jungle. Is that true, David Steen?
Well, I mean, definitely the possibility exists. I would sort of like to say, in defence of Anne Widdecombe, that the thing that's bad about her is all of her horrible views, not the fact that she's ugly. You know, is that the best thing we can say about this woman who sort of voted against gay rights and horribly wanted to get into power and make us do horrible things? This evil person. And the only thing we can find to say about her is she doesn't look great. You know, it is a bit like insulting Hitler because you don't like his moustache length, isn't it?
Right. Or his hairdo.
Or his hairdo, exactly. Which
David didn't want to mention the hairdo. I mean, I don't want to help your team, but the key words you want to be looking out for those is the LP bit. I mean, there's something about the idea of being on an LP and going...
She would have a run
I think that
I think this is undoubtedly true.
Are you going to overrule your teammate?
I'm not going to. I have
them?
absolutely no idea.
Right.
And Rob seems confident.
I think it's a lie. I think it's a lie.
Your current view?
I'm going towards a lie because I think the lion and the tiger bit is the thing that's sort of...
Right.
If it was whale musical...
Okay,
I think it's true.
I'm going to go with what you think now.
Okay, it's a yes. It's a yes.
It's a yes.
Say no. Say no.
Say no.
I would say lie.
He says no. He says lie.
You say...
It's no lie. It's true.
Oh, brilliant. Which is the right answer? Anne Widdecombe does relax by listening to an LP of lion and tiger noises from the jungle. They drown out the growls her stomach makes when she hasn't eaten for 10 minutes. There's nothing like hearing the sound of lion's jaws crushing the skull of a screaming wildebeest who send you nodding off. And on track 5, side 2, she feeds them an asylum seeker. Which means at the end of this round, well, neither team has the comfort of a lead, both tied together on 3 points. Our next round is the inadequately titled This Is My. Lee's team will each claim to have a connection with tonight's mystery guest, but only one of them will be telling the truth. It's then up to David's team to spot the saint amongst the sinners. So please welcome this week's special guest person, Viva. So, Robert, what's Viva to you?
This is Viva. She is my ex-girlfriend. She dumped me when I got her for Christmas a torch.
Gabby, perhaps you'd like to explain how you know Viva.
Yeah, this is Viva. She was my arch rival in rhythmic gymnastics.
And finally, Lee, your relationship with Viva.
This is Viva. She tried to teach me to swim when I was 30, but it didn't work.
So there you are. A former partner to Robert, a rival gymnast to Gabby, or Lee's unsuccessful swimming coach. Who do you want to start with?
What are rhythmic gymnastics?
Rhythmic gymnasts use ribbons, hoops, balls, clubs, ropes.
So not proper gymnastics.
It's a form of gymnastics which has its own beauty.
And at what level did you compete?
We competed at international level.
And you're still friends with her now?
Yeah, we know each other, yeah.
When did you last see her?
Oh, a few months ago.
Where?
Just around the corner.
Where?
Just...
What, in the street?
Where?
Just in
Where?
In London.
Where?
At a gym?
So I got this. Where in London? Where in London did you see her?
I saw her in a restaurant in West London.
Which restaurant? She's lying. Next.
Are you the same age then?
Viva's actually about a year older than me.
Yeah.
And if you're friends with her, you would know when she's due. Is
she pregnant? Because I didn't like to say. I thought you just let yourself go.
So you can't swim, Lee?
Well, I couldn't swim when I was 30.
I mean, how old are you now?
I'm 39.
39.
Well, I think you can say if she's been trying to teach you to swim for 9 years.
No,
and you
she
still
hasn't been
can't.
trying to teach me to swim for 9 years. She tried to teach me to swim when I was 30, and she failed.
Where did you have your lessons?
In my hometown of Southport.
I reckon he's lived in London for more than 9 years. He wouldn't have been in Southport 9 years ago, so he
How do you know how long I've lived in London?
Because, of course, you've been on the circuit, you've been around for a long time.
Believe it or not, you can live up north and still be on the telly.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
We've got this thing that's just come up north called The Car, and it's brilliant!
Why at age 30, what was it that made you think, I really ought to learn to swim?
It's a good question, and I can answer that very simply. I moved to Brighton, and I lived in a flat that overlooked the sea.
So hang on, so you moved to Brighton and you travelled to Southport to have your swimming lessons?
Thank you, sir! You're done! You're done! You should be on the bill.
Now, when you're finished, can I continue the story?
Yeah, yes. I don't think there's any point.
At the age of 30, I moved to Brighton, and I looked at the sea, and I thought, oh my God, I'm terrified of the water. I'm moving back to Southport.
Why don't you join Gabby in Liar's Corner?
Rob, when did you go out with...
This was in 1991, in between my school and university.
What kind of torch was it?
Quite a cheap one. We met at Gateway Supermarket, which was my after-school job. She was putting out a display of cheap plastic torches,
And you thought,
I
"That's
thought
the
it
gift."
would be a funny joke to give her that for Christmas, and it didn't go down as well as I'd hoped.
And who dumped who?
Viva dumped me. It was partly to do with the torch. Also, it might have been something to do with the fact that I didn't go up to her 18th birthday party because I hated all her friends.
Why did you hate all her friends?
They were boorish and irritating.
What did you learn from the relationship? What did you take away?
To try and form relationships with people that are based on more than just sex and drinking.
You say you learned that message in 1991?
Well, I tried
to. Okay.
It's definitely Robert because of the way that Viva is reacting when Robert is speaking. She's kind of going, oh, that idiot. So I think Robert is telling the truth. Can I also say that for a pregnant woman, those boots are ill-advised.
You say...
Can you back support, my love? You're making problems
but she was
for
a
later
gymnast, you see, so she's got very good core strength.
Gabby, she's
a swimming
not
teacher.
She's not pregnant, it's a buoyancy aid.
Okay, David, see, we need an answer. So is this person an erstwhile girlfriend from Robert's past, Gabby's gymnastic opponent, or Lee's swimming teacher?
I think Roberts is telling the truth because when he said that her friends were really boorish, he looked really quite nervous.
Yes, he did, yes. Okay, I think we're going to say Rob's telling the
saying
truth.
it's Robert. Viva, perhaps you'd like to reveal who you really are.
I was Gabby's rival in the
So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Viva, and thank you very much indeed. So at the end of that round, it's David's team who are showing all the fighting spirit of the French, caving in as they have 4-3. And so we come now happily to our final round, more disturbing insights from our panellists, who yet again have no idea what's written on the card they're about to read. Beginning with David.
I believe disaster will occur if I don't adhere to my special alarm clock system.
What is this alarm clock system?
Well, the system is that I have 2 alarm clocks, one that plugs in and one on my phone, and I set them both at the same time because historically I used to be quite a deep sleeper and it was difficult to wake up. One will usually go off first, even though they're for the same time because the clocks are independent, and I have to turn the other one off before it goes.
What kind of disasters do you imagine will occur?
Well, I imagine I might die, basically. I imagine I might discover I've got a terminal disease, or I imagine whatever thing I'm most worried about.
Are you following this? I'm totally confused. You've got 2 alarm clocks. One of them is plugged in, one of them's on your phone, and the explanation for why do you do this is because I think I might get a terminal illness. Is there a big bit that I've missed out?
Yes, there is. All the words I said in between those parts of the story. That's what you've missed out.
Right. Yeah. So, Lee, do you think there's any truth in this?
I think we have to rely on Robert's knowledge of David for this.
I think it's true.
Yeah,
you do?
Yes. I've spent many years watching David try to leave the house without unlocking and locking and unlocking and locking the door 7 or 8 times, and so I believe he would have a system for waking up.
You are team captain.
Definitely true, definitely true.
Okay, we'll go with true.
You're saying it's true. Okay, David, reveal all.
It is, in fact, true.
Yes, David does believe that if he doesn't adhere to his special alarm clock system, some kind of disaster will occur, like someone finding out he's got a special alarm clock system. And a lot of sportsmen are superstitious too. Tim Henman, for example, had a lucky towel that he believed made him win tennis matches. He left it in a hotel room in 1993. Next, Krishnan.
I check for monsters before I go to bed because I'm afraid of the dark.
How can that possibly be true? You read the news.
Yeah, but there's lights on when he reads the news.
Has this gone on a long, long time?
Well, since I was very young.
Does this happen every night? Every night before you go to bed, you check for monsters?
It depends on whether I'm alone.
It's probably slightly embarrassing if you're not alone to check for monsters. Possibly.
I'm a journalist. I travel. I'm on my own quite a lot.
So talk us roughly through. You're in a hotel somewhere away from your wife. It's dark. That much we can picture.
I'm in a hotel room. I'm on my own, as I generally would be in a hotel room, and I would check in the wardrobe, in the ensuite bathroom,
right?
Because you never know what's in the shower.
Yeah, I think we're pretty sure it's a pubic hair on the wall. The hotels I stay at, anyway. It's a certainty.
Lee, what are you veering towards?
We're saying not true.
I really don't think
Unanimous?
it's true.
Yeah, unanimous, it's a lie.
OK, they're saying it's a lie, Krishnan. Tell us the truth.
It's 100% true.
It is absolutely true. Next, Rob. You're on.
I was voted the 47th sexiest man in Wales.
Who was the 48th?
I think was John Humphreys, the guy who reads.
Who made this? Who was it?
Wales has its own newspaper called the Western Mail.
Have we asked him which year this was?
Oh yeah, which year was it? It was clearly not in the last 10.
It was about. Listen to you, George Clooney. I could take that coming from Robert to as a certain earthy charm.
Right,
but from a rejected Chuckle Brother, it's a bit rich.
So, are you team captain? What are you saying?
OK, we think that's a lie.
Yeah.
OK, they're saying it's a lie. Is it a truth or a lie?
It's true.
It's absolutely true. Yep, it's true. Rob was voted the 47th sexiest man in Wales and would have finished even higher if he hadn't got cramp in his dialing finger. Next, Robert.
I was voted the 88th sexiest man in the world.
By who?
But it was the readers of some women's magazine.
Which
Blind
one?
and Wretched.
You would know.
It was new look or new woman.
Where did David finish?
I'm not so very sure David was on that
not listed,
list.
unfortunately.
Generally, Robert is considered the better looking one of your outfit. But if it were me, can I say this, not in a gay way, but I think that you are easier on the eye than him. I think there's something very pleasing, and you may notice I've been looking at you a lot. Not in a gay way, but I just think he looks lovely.
I feel a bit weird about this. But, thanks.
Rob,
anyway,
if we could drag you back to the poll.
I think it's true.
Robert, the answer?
It is true.
It is true. Which hyperactive buzzing sound means that at the end of tonight's contest, it's David's team who've lied their way to victory, having thrashed these teams 7-6. So, cheers and applause to our winners, jeers and derision to our losers. And we leave you with the thought that, according to Winston Churchill, a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on, which suggests that while lies may travel faster, truth has been having a lot more fun. Good night.
Join me tonight for my last out of the series, and my guest will be disco soul legend Shaka Khan, style guru Gok One, Hollywood star Steve Club, and we have great music from the mighty Primal Scream. That's Friday night with Jonathan Ross after the news at 10:35.
Classic comedy in the Rook Restaurant, a gem from the Two Ronnies sketchbook, next on BBC One.